Okay, hold on. It's going to live stream the meeting, and then I have to go into the live stream and mute it because. So this is gonna be an adventure. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. It's going to live stream. Boom. Nailed it.
All right.
Otherwise, you'll hear it or whatever.
Perfect.
How did this get? Oh, that's why.
Oh my God, I love your shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Oh man. The Crabland Rouse, my absolute favorite mech in that whole thing. I love it. Where'd you get that?
T Fury.
T-Fury? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. It looks like YouTube is only hitting me. So while we're doing this,
Doing this. Okay, so now I can do this.
okay, no, okay, it's swapping. I like that.
Oh, it's in speaker view.
It's swapping back and forth, which is good. All right. Oh man, I'm very excited to hang out with you all tonight and whoever joins. So let me go on and give a link to
Look, it's Michael.
Hello.
Individually control your volumes. I don't think I can. That's Discord. It's got that fancy functionality.
Oh, that just took way too long to do.
all right. I am a big fan of this. We are up and running. Michael, what's up? I'm Brandon. We have communicated via the interwebs multiple times, and I don't think we've ever met face to face. And I got to watch Matt's interview with you on Wet Ink Wednesday the other day. So what's up?
Hey, not much. Yeah. Just hanging out, you know. It's a Saturday, so I played some video games and that sort of thing, and excited to be here for the live stream.
I absolutely love that, and I love that you're here. Yeah, so normally, I mean, we've done a few of these things in the past. Some of the people who may be joining us tonight are people who have been with us before. And generally what we do is just hang out, watch the end of the campaign, and
Guess I gotta get it up then.
we ask a bunch of questions to each other, about kind of what we've done, what we thought of the campaign, stuff like that, and answer questions that come in from everybody else. So yeah, get excited, man.
Cool.
Okay, for the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to post this to our backers and see if anyone else on there wants to come and join us.
Hey, throw the link in Basecamp too.
The link to the video, I'll do that.
Yeah, I got a bunch of folks on Facebook who wanted to watch.
Great.
God, I hate widows. This is driving me insane. 15. Okay.
And there it is, Matthias.
Thank you.
No problem. All right. So let me just start off when we're just shooting the crap and hanging out. So Michael, I know that when we I personally first heard about this the original 200-word RPG when Matt was a judge for the 200-word RPG contest.
I was a reader.
Oh, sorry, you weren't a judge. You're right. You weren't a judge. You were a reader. That's right. That is a very good distinction to make. However, Matt brought up a number of games that we played from that year, and we had been doing stuff with Never Going Home and doing stuff with card mechanics and the early days of Plus One, and I loved what you did for the original, like very narrowly scoped Psychic Kids or Psychic Children on the Run from Danger, which became Psychic Kids. So yeah, can you just maybe talk about a little bit of that? I know some of this was covered on the Wedding Wednesday stuff, but it was really cool, and I just want you to know that I loved it. And yeah, man, some of your design stuff was just a lot of fun to do. I've used it multiple times, so yeah.
Cool. Yeah. No, it was I was trying to figure out some way to fit it all within that like container of 200 words. And I'm like mildly obsessed with psychic stuff in general. Like, I watched Akira when I was like 14 years old or something. It was like, well, this is the greatest thing that's ever existed.
As you do.
Yeah, yeah. So there was that. I also I really got into like the sort of external mechanic element of games like Dread.
Oh yeah.
Where like you're trying to play like Jenga to survive this like horror movie. And so I wanted to do something like that. And so I figured that that like card prediction mechanic would be kind of a fun way to the joke kind of being like it's testing the player's psychic abilities to activate the characters.
Yeah. That's actually one of the things, like I used the base mechanic in a number of convention games at Gen Con for a couple of years back to back, and it was a lot of fun. And I remember there's one table where there's one guy kept being like, "Oh, it's Queen of Clubs. It's Queen of Clubs. It's Queen of Clubs," and it was never the Queen of Clubs for him. And then like we go through, and about like 30 minutes later, we ask this other player, and this other player's like, "Oh yeah, it's Queen of Clubs." Turn it over. Of course, it was the Queen of Clubs, and the entire table just like loses their collective mind,
Man.
because it was like a high drama situation when that happens. Like, oh, of course it's Queen of Clubs, and that's the thing I love about how you executed this is the way that card mechanic plays hand in hand with that whole like prediction model. Like, oh well, use your psychic power. Tell me what that card is. And so yeah, absolute blast.
Yeah.
And you use it for all ages too, which is even better.
Yeah, I there's a lot of great RPGs out there, but not a lot of them that are, I don't know, targeted for like a younger audience. So it seemed like a fun thing to do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that our last plus one game was Heckin' Good Doggos, which obviously anyone can play, but we marketed it as an all ages role playing game, and we and kind of teased around about this as like you can play it how you want, but even in how the rules are written and how we're kind of marketing this, it's almost like this is our PG-13 level of game. And I really enjoy how you've written some of the stuff in there to not only include all players, but like you specifically mentioned like, no, you're not gonna like shoot kids. It's not this is not that game. Like
yeah. I mean, I'm enough of a Mobile Suit Gundam fan to be totally fine with children going through horrible stuff, generally speaking. But nice to be a little bit nicer to them sometimes.
What do you mean? Mobile Suit Gundam is not social commentary about the horrors of children in war.
No, it's totally fine. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't think too hard about it. Just look at the cool robots.
Yeah.
Get in the mech, Shinji.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
The robot. Oh, you know what? I know we do stream this or record this, so it will be on our channel. But one thing we didn't do is introduction, so I guess we should do that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
Well, Brandon's
He's
talking.
right behind
to-
you.
Yeah, yeah. Brandon's talking there, so I'll take over. I'm Matt Orr. I'm the creative director at Wet Ink Games, and we've been hard at work. I feel like I've been harder at work in the last few months than most of the time that I've been doing Wet Ink Games stuff. Matthias there may feel differently than that, but like because he's been hard at work too. But yeah, I'm creative director. We've been working on the last few months or last month and really intensely cleaning up Michael's manuscript and getting it like to the point where it's got all the integration of all of the +1 stuff and it really flows well and stuff like that. So that's what I've been up to. And I've got other things we can talk about at the end that I've been up to, but that's what I've been doing for Psychic Kids. And yeah, it's great.
well, I'm Brandon Ayton, business director of Wet Ink Games. The other half of this, the other side of this coin. And yeah, also been busy. We've been doing a lot of fulfillment stuff for our EU and UK backers for one of our previous Kickstarters, which was the Kickstarter was a nightmare. The backers haven't been a nightmare. The entire shipping world has been a nightmare for gaming companies, especially small gaming companies over the past year or two. So it's been a real fun. So I've been dealing with that and helping to kind of coordinate current and future projects. And like Matt said, we'll be able to talk about some of that too, I'm sure.
Okay. Me?
Sure.
All right. My name is Matthias Benici. I'm the graphic designer for.
Let me jump in.
I'm the graphic designer for a lot of Wet Ink Games projects, starting with Jingsha and moving forward even to this one. I've got 25 years experience in the industry. I've done a lot of games. I enjoy working with the gaming industry. It's just so fulfilling creatively, honestly, based off my 9-to-5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and just having a fun time setting the rule book for Psychic Kids and all the other collateral material that we're making for it.
Yeah. And I mean, don't sell yourself short. Is what Jingsha, Blood in the Banquet Hall, Heckin' Good Doggos, and the extra source material for Heckin' Good Doggos. This one, Psychic Kids, and a number of other projects that are in the
We're going
works.
home right now too.
Working on Home. Yep, the graphic designer on Home by Julian Kim and Doug Lewandowski. And also, aren't you also a game designer?
Yeah, I am the co-creator of Rampaging Jotun, and I'm going to be I am the creator of Zero Day War, which is going to be coming out through Wet Ink Games later this year.
There you go.
So
All
it's exciting,
Awesome. Yeah, we're super excited about Zero Day War and just the art that we're seeing come in for that, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Guess I should get the
All right,
sort of.
Michael.
Hello. Hi, sorry about that. My dog was freaking out about something outside.
It's okay. My dog freaks out about something outside or inside or side to side, whatever she wants.
Yeah. So just trying to keep him a little bit calm. Yeah, anyway, hi. I am Michael. I wrote Psychic Kids and the original 200-word Psychic Children on the Run from Danger. This is the first game that I have that I've written in the professional context, getting published and everything. So yeah, it was a really cool process, a lot of fun, and something I'm hoping to do a lot more of. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
One thing that, especially as a, you know, business director and part of a collective and collaborative team to make products. One of the things that I was very impressed with, Michael, was your ability to, when we approached you, we said, hey, we like the 200 word RPG you wrote. Would you be willing to use our system and, make it a larger thing? And not only were you able to read the our previous iterations of our game, but make but take it and make it your own, do something really cool with it, and just really lean into it. Like not a lot of writers, especially if they're new to a system, just dive in with both feet, jump in with both feet like you did. And I really was impressed by that, your ability to do that. And it was a pretty holistic success from a manuscript cleanliness standpoint. Like it was a lot of fun. I mean, I know Matt's been doing a lot of stuff with that for a while, but when we first got it, it was like high fives all around.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
yeah,
wasn't
sorry.
a lot of work to do. Sorry, Michael.
Go ahead. Go ahead. My dog is. Oh,
This is the
This is Hacking the Doggos game design.
yeah, it's Hacking Good Doggos. When I did the interview, the cat attacked. So this is just Michael.
It's okay. It's fine. It's exactly what life is sometimes. So Matt, when you were, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm pretty sure those sentiments are relatively echoed.
What?
The sentiments of the delivery of his manuscript.
Oh, relatively echoed. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was there wasn't a lot of work to do. Like I think some of the variations, and it's so weird, some of the way that the manuscripts have come together, right? Like we had this manuscript we've unfortunately sat on a little while because Michael did write it, and boom, it was there, and there were good ideas in it, like the way that in trying to make it kind of, obviously, like, since Never Going Home was the first one in this system, that's sort of the baseline still. So this was sort of like simplified from that. And I really liked the way in which Michael sort of like took the whole like target number sort of thing. It's just like, okay, so there's like this general threat level that you've got to address. Like this agent is like a threat level 10, and so like that's a big target number, but you're not really rolling target numbers. You're sort of like chipping off the successes down to completely meet the threat, right? So that's like a different way to approach the sort of target number system. And that was actually in hand already, like that idea, before we were finalizing Heckin' Good Doggos. And so it was kind of thinking about that was sort of like an idea that was in my head when I was thinking about how to bring the fun doggos stuff that JD Kennedy wrote for the dogs. Like, how do we make that into a combat system? And seeing what Michael had already done was like, okay, so we don't have to have combat in quotes the way that we have it in Never Going Home, where you've got guns and soldiers and rifles and stuff like that. Michael was the inspiration for, I mean, obviously the final resolution of Heckin' Good Doggos is different from for Psychic Kids, but like that idea of like these different facets or variations on the +1 system are now now a feature. And I think some of that comes directly from like reading what Michael did as like a, oh yes, this is great. We will put this into these games and we will so even though it's coming out later, it is part of the genesis of Doggos because we'd read the manuscript years ago. At this point, it's been years. So it's good ideas. It's good ideas. You did a good job, Michael. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I think like you said, like the thing that I was kind of trying to work out was like how there's like a disparity, right? Like a child, even with psychic powers, is just they're not going to be able to like beat up an adult, and that's not even the sort of like story that it's generally telling. So, I wanted to figure out some way was like, what would a child do? It's like so that you can like approach it from all these different angles of like, well, we're not going to like we're probably not going to like beat up the agent and stuff, but like we can like knock over some boxes and that'll like reduce the threat level, and scamper under tables and stuff where like larger people can't reach, and like all those sort of like alternative resolution ideas. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it. The alternative resolution. That's what that was then. Alternative resolution became the core, one of the core mechanics of Doggos. That like,
Right.
You can feed things with your cutes or your whatever. I mean, we don't have to talk about Doggos, but like, yeah, that it was inspirational. So it's great.
And I know from we look at other designers and other writers who've done stuff for +1. Stephen Wu, we've talked about in a couple of these. Stephen Wu is a guy who did Tenebria, Remnant of Rome, and he did this roughly the same thing. He came and said, I really like your system. I mean, he did it from the other way. He said, I like your system. I'd like to do something for it. Can I have this idea for this Roman game? Can I do it? And he's like, I want to use the cards to represent resources instead. And that was actually one of the things about the +1 system that was kind of cemented then, was when a designer said, I want to do something different with your cards. And one of the hallmarks of +1 now is the dice mechanics stay the same, the card mechanics are different. And so Psychic Kids obviously has different card mechanics. The dice mechanics are roughly the same. Doggos, it's cards are used in this particular way for conflict resolution. We have an upcoming game later this year where cards are used in 2 different ways, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh
yeah. So I'm really excited to see that the different designers take +1 and do some really cool things with it, instead of it just being the same old thing and same old thing and same old thing. And as a designer, it warms my cold designer heart. Matthias, from a graphic design standpoint, I know that we've seen some art and stuff. We've shared some of that stuff, including the cover of Psychic Kids, in various things, and the cover art by Sarah M.W. Miller. But what are some of the things that really like kind of got you excited when looking at some of the components from a graphic design standpoint?
Well, originally I really dug Sarah's artwork. I like her portraits.
Mm-hmm.
And the borders she built into the portraits I use a lot throughout the book and all the materials, because it's just such an elegant, literally an elegant framing. And I love framing things. And then I found I'm using fonts that I found the fonts for the Kickstarter that I felt worked very well with the artwork. And then I incorporated that into the final book design. On this book specifically, I've done more graphic work in it than any of the other books we've ever done.
Yeah.
normally I would be done with a book and moving on to home by now, but Matt had great ideas on how to set up like distressed pages with like little notes on them, and how to build out the feel of 1990s on top of these are kids running around, so they'll have scraps of paper, they'll take a napkin from somewhere, they'll take a flyer off a tree. So I'm trying to incorporate all that and add more flavor to like graphics. Like right now I'm looking at the Rogue Psychic, and I built up a whole thing for him where it looks like it's an old report from the 80s.
Yeah.
And so even behind the picture for him, there is a actual small written story in there for that specific guy. Because I wanted to have the words like murder and strange and things that you can see from the edges, but not necessarily know what the context is. And then there's also geek stuff built in, because if you look at the date for him last being seen, that is the release date for Firestarter in the theaters.
That's really cool.
So I'm being a giant geek. I put in little tidbits here and there. There's actually one part in here where it has the telephone number from Ghostbusters that New York City blanked out because it got 47,000 phone calls. And I believe the movie company had to spend like $12 million in fines because of it.
That is perfect.
But yeah, this is I'm having a fun time. There's a lot of challenges to making this book consistent, and also at the same time elegant, to match the artwork that Sarah did.
And you mentioned the borders and stuff that she put on those psychic kid images, and was just like the way that she illustrated those powers were really, really cool. And it's a mixture of those weird kind of ethereal elements layered with that like very distinct thin gold line, and I really enjoyed how she even conveyed that on the cover, and how you did with title treatment and everything. The translation of raw to refined, I think really carries through, and I really like what you're doing with some of the layout stuff. Maybe we'll be able to show some screenshots of that later today.
Well, talking about that cover, it wasn't just like, it was both me, it was Sarah, it was Matt, it was you. Everyone had some input on how that cover could be built, because I gave you guys 6 different logo designs, 6 different ways of the treatment. And, we as a team refined it down to what it is now.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing about doing building games on the back end. People don't understand how much teamwork goes into putting together a successful published piece.
Yeah.
We got 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes to go.
That's right.
We're at 392 backers. It'd be pretty amazing to get to that 400 level, but that's just nice round numbers. It's nice to be funded at all.
Yeah, and if we got to 13, we're 331 away from our first stretch goal.
Dollars.
We're $331 away from unlocking a stretch goal.
Yeah.
It's actually moved a little bit since we've been on the call already. We do have some people who are watching live. If we have any questions, if you're out there and you do have questions, feel free to poke in the comment section on the YouTube channel, and just post your comments there, and we'll answer them as we can. If not, we're just gonna keep talking about whatever we want to talk about.
That's right. I'm watching comments on a couple other places. Don't have any yet, but we'll answer them if you ask them.
Cool. Oh man. So, Michael, I know that you said you wanted to do more stuff, do more game design and stuff in the future. I know that we've already, said that we really, really like your stuff, and we love working with. We love finding designers that want to work with us and that are able to deliver good quality products and good quality manuscripts. So, what are some of the things that you, as a designer, kind of want to like? What itches do you have that you want to scratch as a designer going forward?
Yeah, like I said earlier, like I'm really interested in uh stuff like Dread or the card mechanic that we have here, things where there's some sort of physical component that's kind of separate from like the dice that we normally use for like conflict resolution a lot of the time. Um and uh uh Sorry, my mind just
No, you're
skipped
fine.
a track there. Anyway, so like different ways to do kind of physical stuff. I've been trying to especially find a way to like use like childhood toys as some sort of component, like basically ask the players like, hey, if you can, like raid your old bedroom and like grab something that you still have from when you were a kid to you know inform like a power or a character trait or something. um and then I also just because I'm also an improviser and a playwright, I'm really uh, sort of focused on how the mechanics of a game affect the way you tell the stories in the game. Um,
Mm,
like improv, right? Like everything's sort of based on like what's the sort of gimmick or like container of the game or the show that you're playing, that you're making stuff up as you go. And there's a big element of that in tabletop design too, because it's all narrative stuff unless you're doing like a completely old school, kick in the doors dungeon crawl. Uh,
right.
and even then you're still probably going to have some sort of narrative element, but like how does like what stories is it possible to tell with the different frameworks of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like I think I mentioned this during like the interview with Matthew, but like one thing that I've been sort of mulling over, and I think like the next game that I'm going to work on is a explicitly like anti-fascist game that's also partially based on the song 99 Red Balloons.
Mm,
I like that song.
yeah.
But like how does like the mechanics of a game, like how do you make anti-fascist mechanics in a tabletop game? And there's like a lot of great thoughts and stuff about that, and like people who've written about like how to do that, and I want to write that now myself.
Yeah. There are a lot of really good designers out there right now who are doing some things in that space. Um, Moonpunk is one that comes to mind. Um, which
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, Moonpunk is one that comes to mind. It's funny because I'm actually wearing a shirt with a printing press on it that says "This machine kills fascists."
Nice.
Yeah. No, I really like that. I love the indie space uh and just how much variety there is in how different subjects are tackled. Um, there's just some really cool things. I was just going through I did a reorganization of my game room recently, and was going through a bunch of the zines and stuff that I got from Zine Quest last year, and was considering some of the stuff that I backed on Zine Quest this year. Uh, there's just so many cool things out there. I know at Gen Con last year, one of a friend of ours, Tristan Zimmerman, won a judge's selection any for shanty hunters, which is like, yeah, we're gonna use sea shanties in the game, and I'm like, yeah, it's just so cool. He just wrapped up a funding for the Zine Quest version of a sequel for Ballad Hunters, which is going to use like English and Irish pub ballads. Yeah, just
The
crazy stuff.
Nice.
a little bit ago, Mike, when you were talking about this is, you know, the mechanics in different ways. There's a guy that I know, a designer out of Vancouver. So, you know, close to you, ish, closer to you than me. But he's doing a game called Thaumaturgy, and
What was it called,
it's
Matt?
Thaumaturgy.
Okay.
Okay.
And the everybody has their own dice. I think it's D10s or whatever, you're rolling dice, but like you can only roll dice like in the wizard's circle that is like set up at one point at the table. So like you have to like get up and go cast your ritual in order to roll your dice and then go back to your seat, I guess, you know. But it's like that's sort of like it makes it a little more like you're doing wizard stuff, because you've got to pick up your reagents and take them to the summoning circle and then throw your dice into the summoning circle, and then obviously you count your roll or whatever. But I don't know, he's working on that. It's gonna be at Gen Con. He's gonna play test it there. So that's Random Alien Games, Christoph Sapinski. So that's one person that comes to mind, and that's sort of like not exact mechanic because you're still rolling dice, but I really like that idea that he told me about, where it's like, no, there's a magic circle on the table and you have to go to the magic circle to cast your spell. You know, you don't get to just roll your dice at your seat, you know. And I'm like, this is interesting. I don't know how it works, but like, we'll see. So anyway, just
Matthias,
adding to your what you were saying, Brandon, like you don't get that from, you know, big box stores,
right?
The big companies. They're not doing that.
No. Matthias, by the way, we had a question from Izzy's Painting Workshop in the chat. Do you have any visuals of some of the art and graphic design aspects of the game as a sneak peek? So if you get a chance, maybe find a good section of layout or a couple, then maybe you can do a screen share in a little bit. And you can do that. Let me make sure that I set all participants as able to share. So in a little bit, just let me know when you find something, and we'll go on and rock that.
Well, I can show the director page with the special agent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
pretty
one I
good.
think would be really cool. That one with the badges and stuff, or the directors themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me just share screen. And what's up, Izzy? All right, screen share. All right, so this is the page. This is the page for the director and one of the special agents. And like I was talking about that border, you can see it all around the edges, built into the background. I made it a little bit more interactive here so that the director is both on top of and behind the border.
Yeah.
Giving her more of a, you know, she's both in front of the scenes and behind the scenes at the same time.
Yeah.
Also, the logo for the facility is also inspired by the painting artwork. And I gave it a catchphrase in Latin on some of the areas. You'll see it, which means the mind is a weapon.
Yeah, I love you can see it just on the badge, right at the bottom of the badge on the front level. You can see it right on the metallic side. I love how you kind of carried that through on that design.
Yeah, and for graphics like this, I had to create everything except the badge holder. So I created the metallic badge in the background, and I created everything inside the badge holder, the color gradient over the badge holder to give it a little bit more of a realistic tint. You know, everything here is, you know, work.
Yeah.
It's work. It's work.
It's
Well,
work.
and let me tell you, man, one of the things I often say, and I will sing your praises not only at conventions or in meetings with other people, you know, I'm like, anything Matthias touches, he makes it look better than you could ever possibly imagine. Like, you're like, hey, can you do this? And you're like, not only can I do this, I will make it sing. So you do, man,
Yeah.
you do great work.
But again, it's also a collaboration. You know, Matt also tells me what he wants to see, and I try to interpret that as best as I can. You
Yeah.
know,
The Izzy says, nice. Yeah, that looks super hot. Which they're not wrong. Hey, can you show maybe two other selections if you don't mind? I
sure.
want to point out a couple of things. Um,
Anything you want to see specifically?
yes, I want to see the either the missing person poster with the reverse, you know, the reverse image, right? You know, stuff written on
Oh
the
yeah,
back of
yeah.
that poster. I think
All
that was
right,
really cool. You did some really cool stuff there. And I'd
I'm gonna
like to
stop sharing
show,
for a second to get to it.
yeah, and I'd like to also show one of the elements that has one of the psychic kids. One of Sarah's art that, you know, we see on the page, it's very small, but I want people to see just how rich this is going to look in the book.
Okay.
While Matt scrolls to that, I will show you like we saw the director and the logo that Matt did there with the sword and the cubes and stuff like that. I was like, I don't know, cubes for containment and a sword for like defense, offense, like maybe something like this. And I sent him this little image, and you know,
Oh, yeah,
we iterated on it, and we iterated. I'll keep it up there while I'm talking. Like we iterated on it, and like then you get this sort of like double cube with like kind of an eye in the pommel, and like there's a lot of stuff that Matt did that took my little sketch to like a level where it's worth looking at, you know, for more than a moment. But yeah, this is the collaborative effort that we've been talking about. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Between words and art and ideas, and it's
15 minutes left, guys.
All right. So here is the missing poster built in. Where's mine? Here I am. And share. All right. So this missing poster is one of the kids that were eaten by it in the movie It. I reversed it. I blurred it out just so you get the hint that this is a missing missing poster.
Yeah.
And Matt kept saying that he wanted to see more little notes from kids or from, you know, people also on the run built into things. So I added like the facility is using missing posters to find us. If you see your face on the poster, take it down.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to add more of these throughout the book because right now there's I think maybe 4 at the moment, and I wanted to add at least 6 to 8.
Yeah.
And
And from that perspective too, you know, we've shown some of the cards, the card deck that was done, and just as a sneak peek, we'll show this later. The Jokers themselves, you know, because the deck is like supposed to be kind of like an in-game artifact that like the agents at the facility were using in order to test your psychic abilities, and that's kind of the theme we're kind of going for here. It's branded kind of like of something like the facility would have. The Jokers are actually scrolled with messages from the kids, you know, like over the logo of the facility, which I think was a great touch that you added.
all right,
yeah,
so here's
go
one
ahead.
with the paintings.
Yeah. Perfect.
So each child painting is going to be a full panel. Because you have to give these paintings just the priority that they need. You know, they are just so well done, and they also just all the material just is reflected in these paintings. It's just so well done. And again, you can see one of the little artifacts that we're adding in here and there.
Oh, I didn't even notice. See, on this page specifically, we can see like this child. You can even see like the freckles on the child's face that Sarah added here. It's just Sarah did such an amazing job with all of these.
I like also all the little leaves on her
Mhm.
sweater.
Yep, great stuff. Great stuff.
All right, so I'm gonna hand this back to you guys.
Yeah. All right.
We have posted throughout the campaign on our Instagram a lot of these images. I don't think we've quite put them all out there yet, so there's still some stuff to be surprised when you get to the actual published book. But if you go to the at Wedding Games on Instagram, you can see a lot of these some of the other portraits that we've shared throughout the campaign, because our Sarah M.W. Miller has done such a great job on the art. Even Wu also did. We mentioned him earlier, but he did art for this as well. So some of he did some of the agent images that are in the book.
I can show one of those.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Sure.
Let me just get to the page. All right.
We did I don't know. It doesn't matter. Any of the ones that you want to show off for that
Oh,
would be great.
Show the vault. So
Sure.
yeah, this
I don't
is
think that one's-
Steven's work.
Yeah.
You know, Steven's done amazing work for Zhang Shi as well.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
His work for Zhongxi is some of the best that he's done. We're talking about Psychic Kids, but like that street scene that it just goes back and back and back and back and like has all the layers of all the light on all the different buildings. Like I think it's amazing.
He did a number of things, just like, hey, do you want to be involved in Zhongshu? We'll do we need you to do a few pieces of art for it. And he's like, yeah, sure. And ended up doing some stupid amount of art for that project.
Just a few.
Yeah,
Just
it was
a few.
Yeah, and he just kept doing more and more.
All right.
I often have said in different conversations like this, he's so talented that if he wasn't such a nice guy, I would hate him. But he's just disgustingly talented. And when the first piece he showed me when he was like, "Oh yeah, I've just been doodling some stuff, and I want to do that Roman game, the Tenebria." He showed me, and it was like this 2-page spread of a Roman aqueduct with like a Roman soldier, fighting barbarians like in a valley. And I'm just like,
That one.
it was
That's another of my favorites from Steven. Yeah, it's great.
That's in the book, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
And
We got less than 10 minutes left till this
10 minutes.
thing closes down.
Where are we at?
We've been talking a bunch here, Michael, about it and stuff like that. You got any thoughts that you want to share about like seeing the book out? Because I'm sure you've had access to it, but I don't know if you'd looked at it before. Like,
I've looked through some of the stuff, some of the art and the layout stuff that Matthias has done, and it's incredible. It's like honestly kind of emotionally overwhelming in a good way. Because it's like this is the first thing that I've ever written that's had this sort of work done with it, this level of collaboration and stuff. Because like when I write a script, it's you convert it to a PDF so the formatting doesn't get messed up and then like hand it out to actors or whatever. There's not this like level of like design and stuff, and like the way that like the things I sort of pictured in my head of the game being conveyed via those like cool little details, like that missing poster is phenomenal. Hang on a sec.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all of that stuff.
Anyway, yeah, and like the first page that you showed with the director and like the badge and everything was just like the first time I saw that I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. That's exactly what it looks like. I didn't know what it all looked like before, but like now it can't be anything else because like that is so like rad and it's just awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
one of the things that
It's so good to hear you say it.
yeah,
Hmm.
I was going to say one of the things that I'm super excited about, and Matt had touched on this early on, and so did Matthias, on like how the first 3 months of this year have been, or 2 months of this year, 2.5, have been super, super busy. We as a company are trying to get to that point where we have a funding period like this. We want to be able to provide the digital copies as soon after the Kickstarter funds or the funding period starts as we possibly can. So like, Matthias was showing you stuff from the working document. And so by the time the 10-day window or whatever Kickstarter is done with, we hope to be able to take this document, go through and we've gone through all the back and forth and everything for all of the material in here, and we can at least provide that digital document to you all before we send it to our printers. If we have it out to you all in a PDF form through DriveThruRPG, it's already in your hands. You all take a look at it, and we can look at it multiple times, and because we've been so close to it, we may miss a few things. But at that point, the material gets to you all. If you guys dive into it, you all as backers and readers dive into it, we have a forum for you all to message us either on Kickstarter or on through Instagram or on our Wet Ink Games Discord. We have all kinds of avenues to get some of that feedback in, and then before it goes to print, we can make some of those minor changes. And the cool thing about it is, you have that in hand, like right then and there. So that's what we're really trying to shoot for. Same thing for this and some of our upcoming work that Matt has been really tearing through. We have 3 more books that Matt's been tearing through for another one of our games. Matt, I'll let you dive into that in 4 minutes, unless you really want to dive into it now.
No, we can wait till 4 minutes. We can wait 4 minutes. 4 minutes because there's 4 books actually.
Oh yes. I was like, what are you talking about? I figured it out.
We've been busy. We set ourselves an ambitious goal for 2023 as a company to put out a lot of stuff, especially like stuff like 0 Day War is something that we've agreed to publish a while ago. Psychic Kids, we effectively commissioned the text like in 2019 or something like that. It's been at a holding pattern for a long time. We want to clear all that stuff out to maybe it was 2020, but it definitely was, I believe, played in 20. I believe it was created and played in its 200-word RPG form in 2018.
No, yeah,
so it is.
Yeah, I was making a COVID joke.
It is. Yeah. So it's been a long time, and we're trying to get these things done and out, and not be sitting on any manuscripts, not be sitting on any projects. We've got some others that are still on the desk that we need to go through to get them out, but we've been trying hard to get through some stuff.
Looks like we have 3 minutes left. We've been
3 minutes. I could talk for 3 more minutes.
You can talk for 3 minutes. Yeah, we have a special thing which we are not allowed to talk about for. So there'll be news coming if you are a backer of this. Excuse me. You'll have an option to be added to the Wet Ink Games newsletter, and you'll be able to see some see some material in the future, again, that we can't talk about for one of our recently developed games. However,
Right.
like, we've tossed around the idea of, or not the idea, we've tossed around the comments about Zero Day War, which
Oh, yeah.
Matthias has designed. And Zero Day War, it's a whole lot of fun. We'll show some art from that, just some mock-up art. Again, it's not finalized by any stretch of the imagination, but we can at least show something from that. But man, as it's going to be Wet Ink Games' first foray into the board game and card game space, using some of the stuff that we learned from Winnie Zhongsha. And we've also made the announcement
Man,
previously of another card game. Oh, we're gonna have
Countdown
seconds.
just switched to seconds.
Ooh.
Man, that's how you know it's good.
On my screen, we got 100 seconds.
Yep. Oh wait, I forgot. Kickstarter does fireworks.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
When it finds, it's like pew, 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 pew.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I gotta watch it to catch the screen capture.
Yeah,
I got a whole folder of screen captured firework successful funding.
that's right. Yeah, we I don't know. I'm really excited about being able to do Zero Day War. Because it not only are we RPG players, we're also board gamers. All kinds of board games here and over there, and oh, now the numbers turned red.
Yeah,
Man,
Oh, it's
did.
almost ominous.
I know, right? It's like, ooh,
when we did the last one of these for home and they turned red, we all freaked out.
like, what happened? Man, that's another one. Home is gonna be so good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into that again.
Yeah, we actually have some through Lurking Fears, one of our GM partners. They're going to be running some home at Gen Con this year. It's going to be cool. All right, I'm seeing 10 seconds on mine.
Amazing.
All right, here we go. Looking for the fireworks. Pew, pew, pew.
Hey!
There you go.
Oh, look at that.
All right. Hey, it was funded 392 backers for a total of $13,669 to help bring this project to life. The great thing is we are able to do that. We're going to be able to get Psychic Kids to print. We're going to get some cool dice, cards, books. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about this game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you to all our backers. Thank you to everyone watching. It's it's been a run. I'm glad that we're at this point.
Yeah, me too. The cool thing too about this, we were mentioning the all of the things that we really kind of go into for some of these games. We've done Never Going Home. We've had dice done. We've had cards done for Never Going Home. Tenebria, we had special dice made and we had cards made. One of the things that we're going to be doing now is we're able to we're at that point where we're able to kind of more professionally design and develop these, as opposed to getting like a little plastic bag of dice, which is fine. I love my shiny math rocks. Like that's I love that. We're going to be going after a very similar model to our friends at Free League who do packages like this. So we'll see some of our plus one games in the future for both existing games that we've had and for future games like Psychic Kids to get things like this, actual packaged dice and stuff. Hold on a second. All right. Oh, children's. So, yeah, we're actually at that place where we can do some of that. And same thing with our cards. We have cards for Tenebria Never Going Home out on Drive Through RPG and Drive Through Cards. It's going to be cool to be able to have a product that can go into distribution and things like that that you can see. We've just done in the past with as we've done different projects like Heck and Good Doggos. We're just stepping this up every chance we get.
It's the goal. That's the goal.
Games on Game says, "Oh, cute kids, good night." Yeah, they're pretty cute. I think that's children's natural defense mechanism is just being cute.
Not the
It-
psychic powers.
No, well, it all depends on the kids. I swear, if my youngest had psychic powers, we'd all be doomed. My youngest is she's a little barbarian of a child. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Matt, tell us about those 3 other books that you were working on.
All right. So probably coming next from us, we don't have the final date set down yet, but like April, May is kind of the period that we're talking about. We have announced this before, but we'll happy to announce it again. We have 3 more Never Going Home books in the works. Our first set of dossiers covered 1915, 1916, 1917. So the obvious next ones to do are 1914 and 1918 to bookend the war, bring all of that to so you can get those 5 years of the war and adventure in each place. Our 1914 book covers actually the very start of the war in the tensions in the Balkans. You are going to be playing basically Serbian mercenaries who are kind of caught up in all of that, like cross-border machinations, and then there's supernatural stuff mixed up in there too. And like the reason the war starts in Never Going Home setting is maybe a little bit different than like the strict historical record, but that's kind of the whole point of alternate history, is that you got to be involved in something. You get to, it doesn't have to work out exactly right because you're involved, you're making your own choices. That book is almost entirely done by people who have worked on Never Going Home before. So we got Stephen Wu involved. He's working as the lead writer for that one. Again, champion of a man, champion of a human, all around great guy. It's got Kevin Wilson, Crystal Mazer, and August Hahn all contributed adventures to that as well.
August Hahn, speaking of
our
someone I
1918
want to
book, the lead writer
more
there. Yeah, August Hahn's having a rough week, rough couple weeks, but so
sending good vibes, man.
send some positive vibes his way. But yeah, the 1918 book, the lead writer there is Vladimir Brodovic, who did the 1918 adventure for the flu pandemic inspired adventure. So we invited him on to be the lead writer to design that campaign. It focuses on the American arrival in Europe, kind of bringing
the
their
flu pandemic
brand of trouble.
The flu pandemic one, by the way, I just want to point out, is free for download on Drive Through RPG.
It's true.
So those of you who maybe have backed Never Going Home or seen Never Going Home and don't know what we're talking about, you can find that for free for download on Drive Through RPG.
Yeah, that one was a free adventure. It was we made it in 2020. 2020 slowed us down in production, so we made an extra adventure, sort of as like everybody, it's been tough, but you get a little something extra for waiting. And then so that one focuses on 1918, the American arrival in Europe, kind of breaking stuff in a whole new way because the Americans are bringing their own problems, they're bringing their own style. That one has, in addition to Vlad, it has some more newcomers. We've got people that have supported us throughout, like some of our most excited fans who have come to us at conventions, and they've told us about running the games, and then we invited them to work on the book. So we've got Brosia Lee writing one. We've got why can't I think of it? Henry Coates writing one of those, and why can't I remember the fourth person involved in that adventure? It is. Do you remember, Brandon? Who's the other one involved in
You
that one?
you already mentioned Atlas, right?
They're writing one for the third book that I haven't mentioned yet. So
Oh,
anyway,
go ahead.
anyway, so the America book is the 1918 book, and then the third book that we'll be bringing is we're calling From Beyond the Veil.
Oh, is it Kyle?
And it is Kyle. I don't know how I missed Kyle. It is Kyle. Thank you, Kyle Osterberg. So these people who have been around gaming spaces before, but then the third book is adventures by Allison Saibi Atwas, who is somebody who ran a Never Going Home actual play for months and months. It's at I don't remember where it is, but again, somebody who we know is excited, who's reached out to us, been involved with us. We're like, hey, we're doing more Never Going Home. We want you to contribute officially. And then the last one there is Mike Coker.
Mike Coker, who also has run an absolute metric ton of games for us at conventions. Also runs and manages the unofficial Never Going Home fan group on Facebook. Mike is a great guy, stand-up guy. But you also mentioned Allison Saibi. I just want to point out, Allison Saibi, we were talking about indie developers and indie designers who are putting out awesome stuff. Allison Saibi, if you are not following Allison's work, you should do it, because Allison Saibi is doing really cool stuff. And doing stuff through like DM's Guild and stuff for the world's most popular RPG, but doing some really, really fun things with it. Also, just published a game called Shield Maidens, which if you have not heard of or followed Shield Maidens, just stop watching us and go do that.
Yeah. So we're really stoked to be working with such a huge group of people. But as the creative director, this is my job to direct all of these massive amounts of talented people into like 3 streams to get these 3 books made. They are well on the way. We will be at a very similar point. We hope to be at a very similar point like this. You mean tonight, it's the final night of the campaign. You're already seeing the layout being worked on. We hope to be at a similar place come the time for musics later in this year, where we got to get the manuscripts written first. We got to get all the detail on the power levels of all the new antagonists have to be tweaked. Then we start doing the layout. We start doing editing. Editing is in process. Speaking of editing, Sarah or Aiton, who's done all the fiction in all the other books, has contributions in one too. So like that series of letters that kind of tell a story that parallels the story the heroes or the player characters go. She's done that work again for the 2 dossiers and contributed a short story to the to From Beyond the Veil. So again, that it's more of what you love about Never Going Home. Presumably you love it if you like it, whatever. If you like what is in those books, this is more of the same. That's what I was trying to say. And so that's been taking up a lot of my time this calendar year, getting those books to the point that, because it's a diverse team of people and they've all got, I'm like, okay, so this idea that's in part 2 needs to show up again in part 5 and 6. And this thing that is mentioned in part 4 wasn't set up, but could be in parts 1 and 3, that kind of thing. Just massaging all of those great ideas to make one cohesive whole is what I've been doing a lot of. And plus, like, obviously making sure that the numbers, he's got Spawn, that's too much, whatever. Nobody wrote that, but like we
Yeah.
don't want to have an antagonist that strong. So
Well,
anyway,
the cool thing too is just like the other books for Never Going Home, the other 7 books, the art is going to be done by Charles Ferguson Avery. Going to continue
he's on
theme
board.
and continue that the just stunning visuals that he's been able to do. Unlike previous books, which have been done by the layout and graphic design has been done by William Knox Gunn, as well as one book was done by Charles Ferguson Avery himself. Matthias is going to do graphic design on those. He's been chomping at the bit to get to those. And
Yeah, I want those in my grubby little hands.
it'll be a lot of fun to see that and see what happens for those. I'm really excited to see that. The other thing that we've mentioned Zero Day War a few times as well from a game design standpoint. I want to hit 2 more things. I know we said that we'll generally try to go to about 9:30 for this, so I don't want to stay on all night. I know people are trying to do some other stuff. 9:30 Eastern. So I want to hit Zero Day War, and I want to hit some of Matt, I believe you shared some really fun things with some art from Sam Breek on Instagram. And
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
like to at least mention that, but let's hit Zero Day War first. So
Sure.
Matthias, give us the elevator pitch for Zero Day War. I mean, not us, because we obviously we're making the game.
All right, so Zero Day War takes place about 300 years in the future. There is a internet that basically what we would count our concept of an internet, except it's expanded across 4 worlds. In the future, we've colonized Venus, Mars, and the moon of Titan. And they're all connected by one system called the SysNet. And there is a massive coronal discharge that knocks down all the security protocols. And for
What does that mean?
and for about maybe 2 or 3 microseconds, it's a free-for-all, and that's what you are. You and other players are hackers trying to steal as many files from the SysNet before the security protocols engage and lock everyone out again. So
what you're telling me is this entire board game, or this entire game, within the world of the setting takes place in about 3 microseconds.
Yep.
I love it.
So it is a massive DDS attack from multiple worlds. We have some fun stretch goals set up. I can confidently say it will have a soundtrack. I had one made for it before, and it's going to continue through.
It is. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
Do you want to talk about gameplay, or should I give a little description of how it lays out on the table?
Have at it.
So you make a little, basically the cards are square shaped, and you'll make a little grid of the cards, and that's the data. And then you've got the exploit cards that are your programs you're running to steal the data on the grid. And you're playing around the edges of this grid, and there's a time element where like the things that are faster activate faster, the things that are slower are usually more powerful, but they take longer to activate. So what cards are available on the field of play are changing, because like here's somebody played a fast card and stole that card, and now you can't hack through that card to get to the adjacent card that you were gonna steal. And so like your exploit doesn't activate. There's a chaos element to it in that respect, but also that's that theme of like you're running a big program to try and take 2 cards. Somebody else runs a fast one, takes one of the ones you were going to take, and it's a cards affecting adjacent cards or transiting through cards to get to other cards, stuff like that. And the cards have different, they're kind of different sets of data. So you've got military data, transport data, that kind of stuff. So ultimately, like most games, you're trying to get the most points, but like, you're building your sets based on collecting similar things with the same kind of data. I think you've got
You're trying to get
your own
points. I'm trying to steal data.
Right. I mean, all games, you operate on two levels at the same time, right? It's fun that way.
So a fun thing about Zero Day War, it started out originally as a game for the movie Hackers.
I
I
didn't
could
know that. That's
So-
really cool.
I could afford the license to Hackers, but I could not afford the license to the likeness of the characters.
Mm.
So
Matthew Lillard commands a high price, I guess.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I could have gotten Matthew Lillard because he was living in New Jersey at the time as I started this game. The first actual exploit is called Sloppy Code, and originally each card had a quote from Hackers on it. And the quote on Sloppy Code is, "I hope you don't screw like you type."
Man,
And it,
I can't tell you how many, like when I talk to designers, how many designers are like, oh yeah, I really liked this thing, so I designed a game for it. So it's not that.
well, that's also why it's in a square grid, is because it's supposed to represent the Gibson.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be going in the way you attack the cards is exactly the way it was attacked in the movie. If you look at how the files are getting attacked.
Mm.
So some of the exploits come from that. Some of the exploits come from actual hacking expert.
Yeah.
Words.
I'm going to share a joke real quick. It's a running joke that I don't see any movies. You've been talking about hackers here. I've just caught up that I'm thinking of the movie Sneakers, which is a different movie. But
Dan Aykroyd. Yeah.
That is a much different movie.
it's a very different movie. Very different movie.
You need to watch
But,
Hackers.
I'm like, I don't remember a grid in Hacker. They're like, oh, because I'm not thinking of Hackers. I'm thinking of Sneakers. Anyway.
So while we're talking about this, let me share my screen. Now, again, this just is a brief insight for some of our viewers about like what we're working on from a design standpoint. This is a step-by-step process. We were talking about some of the collaboration that we do. We are working with an incredible artist who we met at Origins last year. Her name is Lucy Shearer. Lucy is fantastic. And so Lucy actually, it gives us all kinds of things to work with, giving us different examples, different layouts. And this is only one step of this. This is, I think, step 3 or 4 in our process so far. She gave us multiple different sketches and layout examples and things like that. And so Lucy had provided this and said, okay, well, here's some different color schemes with the thing, and here's what I'm thinking for the background and the midground and foreground. Foreground will obviously be like the computer screens, and even give us examples of some box art. Like, this was fantastic. When we love being able to work with artists and designers like this. And the cool thing is, when we collaborate, not only are we collaborating with the artist, but Matthias, who's the game designer and will be the graphic designer for it, is able to take a look at this and provide feedback from not only a thematic standpoint, but like, hey, this is what I'm going to need from a graphic design standpoint. And Matt can provide input and feedback from the creative direction standpoint. And I, as the business director, I'm like, what's this going to look like on the box? So we can approach this conversation from 4 different ways at the same time, and just constantly improve our processes. And I am just thrilled that we're able to do that. And again, Lucy is phenomenal. Yeah, she is a consummate professional.
Yeah, she's gonna murder this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, we got 9 minutes, Matt. Talk about some
You got any,
raccoons.
what? What?
Talk about some raccoons.
Oh, right. The raccoon game. Yeah, so that's the last. So one of the things that we are working on is a game. It's called Garbage and Glory. Again, this is a thing that is like an art-led project, whereas, like with Michael here, he's like, he wrote a game, it had a really cool central mechanic. We're like, expand that out, right? And then we'll hire an artist to do some art. And then we talk about sometimes games start elsewhere. This game started from some stickers. We saw some stickers by an artist, Sam Brick, and he did these little raccoons, and they had like garbage armor and garbage weapons, and like once they're in a fast food box on the head as like a crown. And it's like,
classic.
it's like, this is amazing. Is this from a game? And he's like, no, I just made these fun stickers. And I'm like, we will make a game of this if you will let us. And so like, that's been a whole other collaboration. We've got some of our stable, consistent writers are working on it. That game is a little from done at the moment, but it's in development. We're trying to get this game ready. It's going to be another +1 game, but a little bit different system. It'll probably end up being a little closer to Never Going Home, because it'll have magic in it, it'll have weapons in it. It will be, but one thing that we're doing that's different is this whole garbage aspect. You're going to get the rewards or the cards, and they're the garbage, and that's what you use to build fast equipment or permanent equipment. And we're also going to have glory, and glory is a different set of cards that will be, and this part that we haven't quite boasting, the sort of like proving that you're the better warrior, like you're cutting these cards. Maybe we're in process of working it out, like playing with these two different sets of cards, the same, like collect the garbage to win glory, to spend both of those currency to level up, essentially.
You can
and
spend
it's all
you
sort
can
of in
use
this.
garbage to make stuff, like you can
Yeah.
use garbage to make your powerful sword or your wizard staff and things like that. Like that's because again, the art, and I'll share a piece in just a second, but the art is very evocative. Like Matt and I will go around at conventions and look at artists and like, oh, well, where could they fit in with our stuff? And we love Sam's style. I remember distinctly, I went to his booth and I looked at his stuff. And I was like, man, I really love this stuff, but I don't know where it fits. And so then when Matt had some free time, we both went over to the booth and we're showing him. I'm like, man, this stuff is really good. And Matt was like, yeah, and I don't know where he fits. And then we turn to the left and we see that sticker sheet that Matt was talking about with the raccoons. And we're like, right there, that's the game. And
It doesn't fit anywhere yet.
it doesn't
we're gonna
fit
make a
anywhere
game.
yet, but we will make it fit. One of the things that I often think about as someone whose family watches Bob's Burgers, there's a recurring joke. There's a raccoon that lives in their alley called Little King Trashmouth. And I always think about Little King Trashmouth, because in Garbage and Glory you have these raccoons, and the longer you play in the game, like you can add stuff to your title, to your character's title, which I think thematically is going to be a lot of fun to play. Whatever you do at the table is added to your title. And one of the things that we're tossing around right now is, do you get to pick what's added to your title, or does the rest of the table pick what's added to your title? And it's going to be a lot of fun to mess with. Anyway.
I can show the
We gotta
header
keep
card
working on
for
it.
the Kickstarter.
Yeah, sure.
All right, is that screen share? There we go. Sure.
Yeah, there it is. Garbage and Glory. I love I just love these little crazy raccoons.
Yeah, all the artwork is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam's really crushing the artwork.
And taking a look at some of this stuff and being able to say, you can build your barbarian axe. So you can see here with shards of glass and a broken CD or whatever. Also it's from I personally, as someone who likes to wear t-shirts and hoodies, I would very much like to have have a shirt with this crazy barbarian raccoon on it that says "I'm a garbage barbarian." Because if I ever play a barbarian character, I'm pretty bad at it. It serves two purposes. It lets people know what they're getting into, but also, Garbage and Glory is going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, so that's what's coming from us, and for the rest of the year. But we'll have some other stuff laid out, and hopefully we'll be able to see some other future designs from a certain Michael Brandon on the call.
Yeah. Thanks so much for being with us and hanging out and be part of the stream.
Thank you all again so much. It's been great. I'm really excited and happy that we got fully funded. And I'm
Yes.
really looking forward to seeing the full final version of the book and having it in my hands.
Oh yeah, it'll be great. Cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the book is going to be ready within that 10 days.
Yeah.
So
The digital will be ready very soon.
digital, yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you everyone for joining us, or if you're watching this late. If you were one of our Kickstarter backers, one of our almost 392, I think, Kickstarter backers, thank you so much for your support.
you so
And
much.
we hope that you will support Went In Games in the future, either at conventions or through some of our other projects. By the way, we will be at Origins this year. You can find us at Origins Game Fair. You can find us at Gen Con. We will also be at Gamehole Con in Madison, Wisconsin this year. And we will also be at PAX Unplugged this year in December. So we'll also be at a spattering of smaller cons, or smaller regional cons, but those are the big four that we'll be at, and we hope to see you. If you are one of our supporters or backers, please come and say hi. We'd like to give you a high five and a fist bump and just say thanks. All right. Anyone else have anything you want to say?